Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. My name is THump. Today we're going to be making a tier list on the 6 new characters that were just released recently in Deadlock. I'm going to be looking at some of their abilities, why I think certain characters are going to be stronger than others in the meta, and hopefully you guys will agree with me, and some of you won't, and you can call me stupid in the comments, and that's okay. With that being said, let's get started on the first character that I think is absolutely S tier. This character will not be released like this into the game. There's no way it's humanly possible, is Holliday. This character does insane weapon damage at level 1, best gun in the game. That's first off. This character has a ton of things going for it. Insanely good revolver, base gun, very good. Powder keg, this is the ability that you just throw out, you blow it up, and then it knocks them up in the air. This ability has a 2 spirit modifier, 2. Wraith's cards got nerfed down to a 1.1 spirit scaling modifier. This has 2 spirit scaling modifier, and I get 5 uses of it if I buy rapid recharge. And this is an ability that I can spam once every 1.8 seconds.
Here comes the barrel. Barrel's out. Here comes the barrel.
Nah, I do not have no cooldown on, okay? So it's I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't count. I'm from Mississippi. 5 charges of this that has a 2 spirit scaling modifier that I can throw over and over and over and deal 600 damage. That's insane. Which can also be boosted by Surge of Power as well. 912 damage. There's no way that goes live, right? The next ability. Talk about bounce pad. Just drop a bounce pad in the world that sends you and other heroes flying. You will stomp down on landing, dealing damage, okay? This also has a 2 spirit scaling modifier. Now, you can also use this with Warp Stone, so you just throw it down, you launch, and then whenever you land on the ground, it does a ton of damage. I mean, the most consistent way to do this is through using launch pad with warp stone, so you can use your launch pad, get over them, and then land right on top of them. Now, when you land right on top of them, remember this ability has a 2 spirit scaling modifier, so you're going to hit them with that, and then immediately throw your barrel, blow it up right on top of them as well. 2 abilities that both have 2x spirit scaling modifiers landing on top of you. You will die instantaneously. And then they just decided to give us crack shot, because we're crackheads. Headshots deal bonus weapon damage and applies a fading slow. This effect can only occur when off of cooldown. So it does have a cooldown. Crack shot ignores range damage fall off. That's very important. You can shoot this cross map whenever this is off cooldown and it will work. It has a 1 spirit scaling modifier. It has a 75% fading movement slow and a 2-second debuff duration. Now, once it is max ranked up, every time you hit a headshot, this is going to give you a minus 2-second cooldown per headshot. Let me take off no cooldown. Sorry, I apologize. So notice every time I hit a headshot, we're getting it up faster and faster and faster. Now, Holliday does have a small clip, 10 bullets, which you obviously can upgrade, I suppose. And now you have 22 bullets. So this character also is going to benefit from just going headhunter. This character can also benefit from crippling headshot. Has a lot of really good build paths that it can go. Warp Stone allows you to consistently get off bounce pad damage into powder keg damage. I just don't know what the downside of this character is. The ultimate ability is where you can just lasso somebody. So you also have control in fights as well. It also, at max rank, can lasso 2 heroes inside of the area. So now I can lasso 2 people and drag them into my team. So I don't really see what downsides there are to this character. S tier, and if you argue with me in the comments, I just think that you're intellectually beneath me. This character is insane. The next hero we're going to talk about is Calico. Calico is a character that I recently thought was going to be used as a melee heavy build because of your ultimate. Mark your enemies and bathe yourself in shadow to strengthen your attacks and make yourself invisible. Attacking will only temporarily reveal you. Hitting enemies with melee damage will reduce their bullet resistance, stacking. So if you hit them with a light melee, it does -5 bullet resistance. And if you hit them with a heavy melee, it's -15 bullet resistance. This lasts for 6 seconds. Now, at max rank, heavy melee attacks cause silence for 3 seconds. So for 12 seconds, every time you heavy melee someone, you can silence them for 3 seconds. In max rank, you also get a plus 40% movement slow resistance and 30% stamina recovery. Plus, your ultimate also gives you 40% damage amplification. So I thought that this character was going to be used with melee builds because of this ultimate and because of Pounce. Leap at the target to inflict light melee damage and slow nearby enemies. You may use Pounce on a second target if used within 3 seconds. So I figured people would run Spirit Strike. This ability is going to apply Spirit Strike, reduce their spirit resistances, plus your ult. But they recently added Titanic Magazine to the game, which gives you 25% melee resistances. And they also added Bullet Shredder Resist, which gives you 15%. So people have ways to itemize around punching. But what they don't have the ability to itemize around is this. I think this is what makes this character an A tier character. I wouldn't put it in S tier because it doesn't have 2 abilities like Holliday that scale with 2x spirit modifiers. But let me tell you what this does. I think this is going to be incredibly powerful. Deploy a strategy to track enemies in an area. The ward will also attack enemies recently damaged by Calico. Targeted enemies have reduced healing and heal Calico when damaged. Base, this does 65 DPS with a 0.4 scaling spirit modifier. The HP scales at a 3 spirit scaling modifier, so when you get a lot of spirit, you will be able to get these things a lot tankier. Notice they're now at 462 HP. It gives you 30% lifesteal. It applies a minus 50% healing reduction, and it applies a minus 30% damage reduction. This character is a 1v1 god building these statues. So you can also buy rapid recharge to get a lot of them. So notice how we have 4 now. And I can place these once every 3 seconds. So in a fight, I can get 2 of these down really, really fast. If the fight's going on a long time, I can constantly put these down in different locations. Say, for example, we're fighting in mid-boss. How does a team ever come down into mid-boss against this character and fight us if I have 2 or 3 of these down, constantly applying 83 DPS, each one of these? 83 DPS, 83 DPS, 83 DPS, and 83 DPS. So it's doing over 300 DPS per second sitting there while applying a 50% healing reduction, while 30% lifesteal and 30% damage reduction to the target. I think this ability is absolutely insane, and I feel like it will provide a lot of value to your team, and it will make Calico extremely difficult to deal with. I'm not very excited to play against Calico players that run this build. I think it will be much better than the heavy melee build that people could run using Colossus and stuff like that. The other 2 abilities I'll go through really quick. Just throw out a cat. It picks them up if it hits a hero and then blows up. You can also detonate this on your own. So if I throw it out, I can detonate it whenever I want. And Pounce. Pounce, just you leap to one target and then you can leap to another one right after. So that's pretty much the breakdown for Calico, A tier character. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to deal with Neko Mata Ward. The next hero we're going to be looking at is Magician. I would put Magician above Calico in the A tier just because I believe he has more potential once he is completely finished. With that being said, his ult is on Paradox's ult right now. They do not have a fleshed out ultimate ability for him, so we'll have to see. But with that being said, this character does have good burst and CC. His auto attack is shooting cards out. I'm guessing he's going to be throwing these eventually. But for right now, he is shooting them with Shiv's gun. His first ability is going to be Vexing Bolt. It is a 1.2 spirit scaling modifier. You shoot it out, it does spirit damage and applies a fading slow. You can shoot it once, and then you can redirect it onto whatever target you want to. Kind of like that movie where they can curve bullets. Now it gets interesting. This is affected by rapid recharge. So at the start of the game, you start off with 1, and then you get rapid recharge, and you have 3. So where this character gets interesting is a second ability, Spectral Assistant. Summon an assistant at a target location. They mimic your attacks, throwing cards that deal spirit damage. You can also swap places with the assistant by pressing the key again. At rank 5, the assistant also mimics your Vexing Bolts. So you can get rapid recharge and surge of power, put your assistant down, and he's going to mimic your damage. That is 1,000 damage that I just did to this guy with these 4 items right here. And then I can use that 3 times back to back to back. Here's me teleporting to my assistant. And then his third ability, so he does a ton of bursts, and now he has some CC. Hex a target, transforming them into a rabbit. Rabbits are smaller and move faster, but receive a damage amplification and cannot perform most actions. Sorry, it's a 3%. It's a 3-second duration, and it gives you a 33% damage amplification, which scales with a 0.1 spirit modifier. So it's going to be a lot harder to increase this. Whenever we put this on somebody, here's the basic combo that you would be running. You would ribbit them, put this down, and now I do 12,062 spirit damage with 1 burst because I'm getting the damage amplification. I think this character has a ton of potential, and I'm excited to see what they do with his ultimate ability. Overall, an A-tier character. Viper is going to be the next character that we're looking at. Viper is going to be an A-tier, but he is an A-tier because he is going to be annoying as hell to play against. Let me get started on this character's ultimate, Petrify. Create a hexed area on the ground. After a delay, all units in the cylindrical area are petrified. Enemies also suffer spirit damage. Petrified units block all damage, but cannot take actions. Petrified units break free after blocking enough damage. So once we shoot them with 200 damage, they are going to be knocked out of the Petrify. This Petrify lasts for 4.5 seconds. So what you can do is you can throw this ult on their entire enemy team. Say you hit 6 of them. All 6 of them are petrified for 4.5 seconds. And then your team can call out 1 target to focus down and kill before the rest of them come out of being petrified. So for example, I throw this down, we say, focus the Infernus, focus the Infernus. These guys are still petrified, their Infernus is dead, and now we're in a 5v6. This is a very, very powerful ultimate, which is just going to be really, really, really annoying to play against. And then you combine that with his Slither. I think this character is going to have a very high skill gap. You have increased slide distances, you can slide up hills, and you can turn faster while you're sliding. So the slide distance on this character is very, very far. So this is just 1 roll into a slide, and I slid all the way across that. Remember, you can go up and down. You can just go in a circle. I'm doing NASCAR. So this is what I mean by this character will have a very, very high skill gap. I think this character can go anywhere from S tier to probably D tier based on the player playing it. However, actually not D tier, maybe B tier, just because this ultimate ability is so powerful. Lethal Venom, this ability, inject a target with lethal venom. After a delay, the venom triggers, dealing spirit damage. The damage is increased by the target's missing health. Max venom damage also scales with a 3 spirit modifier. So this is going to be good against Abrams, people that have a lot of missing health. This is just going to eat them alive. And then your hook blade, you basically just throw it out, and it's in an AoE. It applies a 70% movement slow. So yeah, just overall, I think this character is going to be based on how good the player is that's playing it and how much they can abuse his slide and his really, really fast auto attack animation. Lork, aka Fathom, is up next. This hero is going to be S tier for me based on just his aesthetics alone. I love how troll his character is. I love that he's a shotgun character, even though they haven't fixed the animation right now. His third ability is also bloodletting from Shiv, so we won't even go into that. This character is still a work in progress, but this is definitely going to be a character that I'm going to main. I really like the way the playstyle of these 2 abilities is going to play out. So his first one is Breach. It's a 0.7 spirit scaling modifier, and all this does is leap you in. Leaps you in, you land on people, you knock them up. Now this ability, Scalding Spray, you're just going to spray it at people, and each second that you hit people with it, you're going to get an 8% weapon damage gain per second. So I'm spraying out scalding hot water out of my mouth, and I'm getting a stacking weapon buff, 42%. So I get 42% weapon damage there, which is basically like getting a free Berserker. Your weapon damage increases as you take sustained damage. With this, you get a max of 10 stacks, 50% weapon damage. So we just get a lot of free weapon damage with this ability. And he has Reef Driller Harpoon. You just throw this into a wall, and it brings you to it. Whoops. Of course, I messed it up the first time I use it. While you're in this, you become invisible and invulnerable, but enemies that look directly at you reveal the invisibility. You can use this to push up a lane. You can use this to roam over the top of buildings. You can use this to also just regen your HP. While you're out of combat and hidden on the minimap, you heal a portion of your max health every second. So 5% max health at max level every single second. You can use this to gain tons of different tons of different ways that you can use this that obviously haven't all been figured out yet. Still a work in progress, but I really like the direction that they're going with the character, and I'm really excited to play it. Last and certainly least is going to be Wrecker. I don't really know where this character's place in the game is. The only thing I can say is that Astral Walk will allow you to have a lot of map pressure. I'll show this. You basically hop into it. You drive around the whip for a little bit, and then whenever you want to, you can either run into somebody or you can auto-cancel it yourself. It blows up and you teleport to the target location. So you are going to be able to gank really well with this character, launch a flying shadow copy of yourself that you can control, teleporting your original body to wherever it lands. Whenever you land, it does damage based on how long you've been flying. So if you have frequent flyer miles, it's going to do more damage. It applies a 60% enemy movement slow, has a 1.5 second cast delay, and an enemy slow duration of 1 second. The other abilities, Consume, and I'll probably be wrong about this, but you consume an enemy, and over time, you get a stacking attack speed buff. When you consume someone, it gives you a cast of Bioblast. Shoots out a blast of consumed remains, damaging and slowing enemies. Multiple hits increase the slow. So you just throw this out. That's all it is. Just that. And then the first ability is a Wrecking Ball. You create a large ball of scrap that can be thrown, damaging and stunning anything that it hits. The ball takes time to create and moves slower while you carry it. So you just build this up, and then you can just throw it out and stun. This character seems incredibly boring to play, in my opinion. It should be completely redone. The Wrecking Ball, I mean, it slows you down. You can't move. Then you throw it. It throws really slow across the map. You're just sitting there making an annoying noise, consuming something. Please change this. And then all you do is just throw out a close range ball of scraps. Not the most intuitive character, should probably be redone. That's why I'm just going to put this character in F tier, because I don't find it intriguing to play whatsoever. That's going to be it for the tier list. I hope you guys learned anything. If you disagree with me, please argue with me in the comments and like the video as well. It really helps me out. I do stream daily, twitch.tv/THump. I will be going over playing these characters. You can play them for 2 hours a night from 9 to 11 every night. You can play these characters as well, or you can come on my stream, check it out, ask questions if you have. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.